Childhood trauma made this nigga paranoid. Me too. Yeah, I love him, but we toxic. I don't understand how we attracted by the things we despise. I keep going through this shit, I gotta stop it. Mama unavailable, feelings wasn't as stable. Rejected him like a fable, no dinner place on the table. Giving women that label like bitches ain't never able. He treating me with the anger he bottled up from a kid. But what I really did, cause all I do is give. But he don't give a fuck, trauma fueling how we live.
At sidelineofstage.com, we are embarking on a new venture. We've got a new show, and it's going to be called the Sitdown. We will be providing an audience another way to listen and learn about our guests. For our very first guest, we are delighted to have the uber talented queen of hip hop from the Motor City, the one and only poet and hip hop artist, Monalyse.
I'm excited. Yes.
How was that for an intro and a segue? You like that?
It was amazing. I felt like, I was like, who is that? But then you were talking about me, and I was like, oh, that.
Again, thank you for joining us today. I want to kind of look at different parts of your career and also find out, like, I guess, to get started, what's happening with you today? Like, what's going on? What are you working on that's new? And what can you share with the audience, from a music standpoint, that what kind of projects you got working on right now?
Well, as we speak right now, I'm working on an EP with a producer in the city. It's actually, it's going really well. We have a few songs under our belt, and we're coming up with it. I meet up with him at least like once a week. So we're getting that project situated right now. So, and it should be done, I would say, by the top of the year, after the holidays. So I'm just getting like certain things ready, getting ready to do videos for certain things. I'm always a storyteller. I've been working on different stories that I have. So, and then it's just like, I think I have a unique way of telling stories. So I'm just trying to figure out how to, I'm definitely in a space where I'm figuring myself out the most I've ever figured myself out before. Because when I first, I'm sorry if I'm rambling.
No, you're fine. You're good.
But when I first came out with music, people thought I was just so amazing, so great, that they were like pushing and pulling me to do certain things in certain areas and be they had different ideas of what I should be and what I should look like, what I should sound like, what my beat should be, like just pulling me in all these different directions. So this is the first time ever where I'm like figuring who I am by myself. So that's why right now it's a little hard for me, but I feel like when I push through, I would be an even greater artist than I could ever imagine. But long story short, I'm working on an EP.
That's great. Do you have a name for the EP yet, or are you still putting that together? Or?
Yeah, we have a name, but I'll come out with it later, but we definitely have a name.
Okay. How many tracks are you aiming for with it?
About 7.
About 7. That's good. That's a good number.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to what you were just mentioning, have you been kind of going through a bit of a reflective phase of you're kind of going, you're aiming to basically maybe keep some of your authenticity and just different things, and you want to kind of stick to your way almost, so to speak, and kind of do things.
Of course, because I feel like right now in music, you have like a machine of, you have basically a prototype of like the female rapper. You have the prototype of the male rapper, and they already have like certain narratives that they go with, and it's the same narratives, if most of the time for the female rapper is I can fuck you this good, I'm gonna get my money, I'm gonna get your money, you know what I'm saying, fuck these niggas. Like, and then like for the man, it's kind of like, I'm gonna get this money, like I'm better than you. The females too, it's like I'm better than, it's kind of like the same kind of narrative. And don't get me wrong, that's okay with balance. Like I'm all for that narrative, with balance, because it's still like a character. But I feel like there's a lot of missing characters in hip hop. Where's the girl next door who is, you know what I'm saying, going to therapy because she don't know how to deal with relationships because she was traumatized as a child? Where's her story at? Or where's the girl who is consciously putting herself through bullshit but don't know how? Like, it's so many stories. So I want it to be my my duty for me and for my listener to have a glimpse of a different story, because that might open up the door for so many other people who don't want to have the same rigid narrative as the rest of hip hop. So I feel like that's why I feel like a lot of people are drawn to my music, because they know for a fact that it's different, and I want to keep it within, you know what I'm saying, within myself, to follow myself instead of everybody else. Because people, they say, oh, you just get on the beat and you rap like this and you say this and you wear this and you do this, you be out of here popping. Okay, yeah, but sometimes when you walk into boxes, it's hard to leave those same boxes that you walked in so easily. So I'm trying to create my own box, even though it's harder because it's not created yet. So I got to build it brick by brick by myself, compared to already walking into this box that's already here already. I just walk in and join the crowd. I just got to build my own little lane up. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me. You know?
And I admire you for that, because obviously you're keeping it real to what your vision is. And also you're also kind of sticking to the plan that you have laid out for yourself, as opposed to kind of hopping on that bandwagon.
Of course. It's because you gotta think the bandwagon already crowded. Everybody's there. Everybody can be a rapper. This is a new day, a new age. Today, if you put rapper in your bio, you put out 2 rap songs, you a rapper. Like, social media has made it easy to be anything that you want to be, and they mess with perception. You can have a lot of followers, call yourself whatever you want, put a couple pictures to give proof of that, and you are exactly what that is. I could be a cook tomorrow. I could put cook in my bio. I could get rid of all my pictures and start uploading a couple pictures. They be like, oh, she got 7,000 followers. It's because she's a cook. And you can get your friends to comment on how good the food look, and now I'm Monalisa the cook.
Yeah.
And that's how easy it is to become a rapper. And it's so many rappers out here. So why would I join a bandwagon? It's crowded. Yeah, it might be wrong, but who wants to be there?
Do you find, and this is something that I'm speaking myself, but I'm wondering if you find something similar that I've seen with the hip hop industry. Like you said, it's kind of broken down almost into 2 categories, where before you had a different mix of artists, some that were political, some that had a certain sound. Maybe somebody else was a little bit more dance oriented, like a heavy D. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying political, Public Enemy, you had all these different people had their own niche, so to speak. And like you said, now it's just kind of like the male rapper does, X, Y, Z, and that's it. It's kind of like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, before, I felt like there was other different sounds and also different messages.
It was a balance. Don't get me wrong, those other rappers do exist, because you got like Little Sims, and you got, you know what I'm saying, Rhapsody. You got it's some lyrical women out here. It's some lyrical women, but they ain't got the light on them like the other ones. That's the difference. But people need to we going into an age where just because something has the light on it doesn't mean it's the best thing possible. You can still make a lot of money underground, sometimes more than the stars who have the light on them, because you're not held in bondage to certain, contracts and certain things. Like, it's certain independent artists who going internationally, getting booked, who under the radar, who going crazy. We just don't hear about them. So, I mean, now it's not a balance right now. It's not a balance. But back then, it used to be. It used to be.
Now, I know you and I had a phone conversation the other week, and you had mentioned that you're also doing some behind the scenes as you put together this EP. Can you talk a little bit about like the documentary aspect and what you're trying to aim for with that?
Yeah, I'm working with my friend, and he's going to actually just show the process, because I feel like the process of the project that we're working on is great. You know, like he looks for these vinyls, he plays the music. You know, I come up with like a concept, and it's just a really natural process that me and him have going on. So he's just going to be recording that and asking me questions simultaneously.
No, that's really cool because you get kind of the behind the scenes, look at things as you're doing that.
Exactly. I think it'll be great. You know, it'll give people like a little insight on how it is for me to create.
Now, while we're on the subject of create, can you talk about the creative process for you and kind of how you come up with maybe a song or even like the Monalisa Mondays when you cut those video segments and such? Where does the passion come from, or maybe the theme that you're going for? How does that sort of evolve for you? Is it can you talk about that?
Like, what do you mean? Like, so are you asking me what's the process of creating, or like what's the point? Like, what are you asking?
Actually, more of just you get like a song idea or a theme and you start kind of putting it and processing it together, or is it maybe it's late at night, you've gotten off work and all of a sudden something starts coming to you and you've got the notepad handy? Or like how does that come together for you?
It's really different things that happen. It's really a confusing thing for me to this day. Like, sometimes I hear a phrase over and over in my head, and I'm like, oh, let me write this out. Sometimes there's a situation that inspires me, and it's a story that's already in my head, and I know how to flow naturally. Like, how to say words is not a problem for me. Like, I don't like how people have to figure out how they're gonna say what they have to say. It's not my problem. It's the what I'm gonna say. Because I could flow on anything. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I hear a beat and I could find which words or whatever. But I have an inspiration file on my phone. Every time somebody says something that I like, I quote them in my notes file in my iPhone. So I'll play a beat, I'll go through the quotes, I see a quote I like, and I write about it. So it's different things that I do, really.
No, I was interested in, like you said, just describing the process or how you kind of go through that, because I mean, we're all creative in different ways, and yourself, obviously, from a poetry standpoint to obviously as you're creating your music. I was just kind of wondering, how that all kind of came together for you.
Yeah, it's really, sometimes it's super quick and natural, especially like when I'm mad. Anger sparks the quickest and the most passionate energy. Yeah, like when I was in relationships with, like, because men are kind of like the muse most of the time when I rap is talking about like relationships and what's going on. So me dating, I'm single, me dating, I might speak about how it is. Or when I was in a relationship, me being irritated or me being in love, like whatever my perception is in the time, I'll write about it. And, just give people a little look into the world. And guys, they know sometimes that I've written about them.
Right.
Because I will. That's one thing I will do, is I will write a song about you.
I was just going to say, I mean, the fellows out there better be careful how they treat you, because they may end up really, getting a surprise at some point.
Yeah, they're going to get a song. But what's cringy, though, is when they be like, can you write a song about me? And I'll be like, no. Like, why? Like, you can't ask me to write a song about you. Or they'll say, like, I remember somebody was like, just promise me one thing. You're not going to write a song about me. First of all, whether I write a song about you or not write a song about you. It's all up to me. So you can't tell me what I can or cannot do with my pen. So I thought it was kind of like, what's the word? Kind of like self-absorbed. Like, you just think you're so great that you about to get a song out of me. Definitely was rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like when people tell me what I can and cannot do when it comes to my art.
You start getting in a real committed relationship, I think your NDA is going to have something on the other end where they say, they're going to have things in there about, okay, I don't want any tracks about me. I don't want to talk about this, and they're going to be putting that in front of you.
Probably.
It'll probably be a different kind of NDA.
Nah, they just have to deal with it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I make up stories though. Like, and that's the thing about my music. You don't know which ones are real or which ones are fake. Because I could be writing from another girl's perspective. Like, it might not even be mine. It might be somebody else's story. But I thought the story was so crazy, I wrote about it. Every song,
I touched on it a little bit earlier when I was talking about Mondays and everything. Can you talk about the Monalisa Mondays and how that idea, the concept came, like, and how you basically you went through and you made that a regular part of Mondays and and so forth? Can you walk the viewers and listeners through that process?
Yeah, so basically Monalisa Monday was just like a little pick me up. If you want to hear some raps real quick, while I'm getting my stuff together, doing what I got to do. And I worked with Vince Glass, who was the videographer who shot all of them. And it's just like a quick little freestyle rap, just content. It's just content. I picked Monday. Mona sounds similar. Put it out on that day. And it's just easy. Like, these videos are not super thought of. Like, literally, Vince comes over to my house. We drive around. He sees a spot, or I might see a spot. I sit down. We do 5 takes. He goes home. He edits it. The video is done the next day. It's really like, it's very simple process. But I did definitely halt it a little bit because I'm like, I want to save my energy and my raps for like a bigger purpose, to put it out, to have an album, to put all my thoughts and everything together. So yeah, but I think it's like a fun, Mona Mondays is like just a fun little rap that people can hear.
I like how you've given a variety, because obviously you've taken some old school vibes and you've put your own freestyle together. You've taken something else that's maybe a message. And again, the listener's got to figure out, are you speaking about your own personal experience or something else? And you've had a mix of different themes. And I think you've done a wonderful job with it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I tried. I wrote these songs. Like, and it's so crazy because I gave away some good Mona Mondays, like Monsters Inc., childhood trauma. It's some good verses in there. I might have to re-rock, because it definitely has some good ideas for songs.
I want to kind of go back and rewind a little bit. I want to reflect on your other EP when you did Diligence, and how pleased were you with the finished product? And looking back, like, is that something that you're happy with, or being your own critic? What are your thoughts?
Diligence I was happy with it. Diligence was a different type of process. It was definitely my rap, and it was definitely my energy. I wrote every song front to end. But I feel like it wasn't like the authentic, like, Mona that I am. Like, that was just like, every week they'll like give me 2 beats to choose from, this one or that one. I choose this beat, I work on that song. The next week he would have 2 beats, this one or that one. So I mean, were they beats that I would pick? No, it was just this one or the other one. It's kind of like the kid, I don't know. It was, but I am proud of it, and I'm happy about how it turned out in the perception of that project. I just feel like people love my music so much that they would eat anything that I put on the plate. They like, we don't care. We just want the music. So diligence was something they're like, all right, we're eating it. We love it. We love you. You know, so I definitely want to come out with some music that is 100% me, because I am a storyteller, poet, rapper. You know, so I love to tell stories. It's not just, and Diligence was cool. Like, what was some songs in there? Ooh La La La, Dollar to a Dream. That was cool. But yeah, I definitely feel like it was long story short, it was a good project. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite track off Diligence?
I do. It's a good song that I like. And actually, it's crazy because the guy who I was dating at the time made that beat.
Okay.
But secretly put it into the file though. Like, it was like they were working with producers and stuff. I guess he didn't want me to know that he made the beat, but I knew because I know how he make beats. But it was weird because we were like in a weird place in our relationship where he didn't want to really work with me for real. He thought it was conflict of interest, which it's whatever. But it was weird that he put the beat in there because I'm like, I thought we weren't working together. But the song was cool. I do. It's a nice song.
Also, after you released that's were you already discovered by Pusha T, or did that kind of come up after the EP?
It was a coincidence. It was at the same time.
Okay, so I know that was
like
close.
I played the album. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I was going to say it was kind of the timing of all that. Like, it was like everything was happening at once because there was different people that had been following you, and kind of anxious for your EP to come out. And then next thing you know, there was the excitement of basically the announcement that you were going to be included in Pusha T's project. So I just kind of like, there was kind of a lot of momentum going on.
Yeah, it was just a coincidence. Same time. I actually played the album for Pusha T when I went out there because it just dropped like a week before. It was just pure coincidence, like crazy. Yeah.
Was that experience positive for you? Did that help expand your audience overall? Were you happy?
Yeah, it definitely helped expand my audience, and the cosign is like, it's Pusha T, so that cosign is crazy. Like, yeah, it was really dope. It was really dope. I thought it was really good. I still have connections to this day that I talk to on the internet in different places. Like if I was to go to California or if I was to go to New York, I know people from that experience that will help me in whatever venture that I want to do. So it definitely helped. It was no negative really with that experience.
So for fans that are watching, us in our interview and so forth right now, can you talk about that with Pusha T and just kind of the other artists and just kind of what you were a part of the collaboration?
Well, basically, it was a project called 1800 Seconds, which it was an album that was 1800 seconds, and in cahoots with 1800 Tequila that they sponsored, and it was 10 artists from across the country, and we each had a song on this project, and it was just to showcase different talent, young talent across the country, and it was an experience where we did all the content in California. We performed for the first show in New York. They loved it so much. Then we had a second show in Detroit. And yeah, basically, that's basically what it was. And he mentored us and talked to us. And it was nice.
What was the biggest learning lesson or takeaway for you from that whole experience?
If you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready, because you never know what opportunities are around the corner. So if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Because I remember I went to the studio and I'm just about to write the songs there. We got 12-hour studio time. It was people in there who already had songs. They I already got songs I ain't heard. They knocking them out. Boom, knocking them out. Boom. They got songs in the vault, doing 9 songs. I'm still writing on my second song. Like, oh shit. Damn. And time is money. So they utilizing their time quick, like boom, boom, boom. What song we gonna pick? I done did 10 songs. And I'm like, I'm over here writing these songs. I ain't come with no songs. You know, like you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. He was play times he was going out. Like, dang, I gotta go shopping. I need to get me an outfit for this bit. They already got the outfit, they ready. They ain't gotta get ready. You know, so that's what I learned. That's what I learned.
It sounds like you learned a few different lessons along the way there of just kind of being ready on a lot of different ends and just, like you said, prepared. So that way you were kind of almost ready for anything.
Yeah, you got to be ready for anything. It's kind of like saving money. Like, you don't know what you're going to need it for, but one day you're going to need it. You might need it, you know? So it's just like, if you already ready, then you don't have to stress when, you know, opportunity is around the corner and hits you out of nowhere. And it's just like, boom, like, what you going to do now? And I was not ready. It was times where everybody went out and it was like Pharrell was out and other people was out. I stayed at the hotel. I was like, I don't want to go. I am just, it's too much. I stayed at the hotel the whole day because I had to get my mind right. It was so much going on every day, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting your makeup done, doing photo shoots, then doing lunch, then doing practice. That's the thing.
How much lately have you been kind of going through a bit of a learning curve? I guess, like you said, you're having to do things a little bit more on your own and also kind of grow as an artist. Do you find like you're doing a bit of a juggling act right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And it's a journey that I know is needed because I'm a very faithful person and I'm a very I have a lot of belief, and I feel like if I go through this stage of my life and I conquer this, if I conquer loneliness, then I can conquer being around people, because loneliness is one of humans' biggest, biggest things to deal with. People cannot deal with loneliness. I wouldn't say loneliness, but being alone. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people they have never been alone with themselves ever. They go to work with people, they focus on that, they come home, they drink, they party, they never sit with themselves. Like, and that's why it's like, I'm trying to find myself, I'm trying to find yourself, because they've never dated themselves. Like, what do you like to do? Do you like to go out to eat? Take yourself out to eat. Oh, you like going to the movies? Take yourself to the movies. Like, oh, you like comedy shows? Go laugh by yourself. People can't do stuff by themselves. So me going through this process of creativity, through self-motivation, through focusing and teaching myself to do all of that, I feel like this is a stage where if I conquer it, I will conquer myself. And that is the biggest goal, because I am a little uncontrollable. I am unpredictable. I am a loose cannonball. I am, but I feel like I have a lot of energy, but it's hard to contain it sometimes, because one of my problems in life is that I do what I want before I do what I need. And that's the problem that I have in life, which I'm working on myself, God ain't through with me yet, but I'm working on myself. So staying focused, and I'm just trying to do all that because the music will be a reflection of that.
So, like you mentioned about having your EP come out, Pusha T, did you find like you kind of got stuck in neutral at that point, or like you said, you had other people kind of trying to pull you different directions? Can you talk about the challenges you were kind of facing of where you were going to take your career and kind of where you're at today?
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened since then. So I was working on my music, and then the pandemic happened. So the pandemic really knocked me off my square because I didn't know what world I was living in. And, it kind of just threw me for a loop. So definitely have been in neutral since then, just trying to figure out, other stuff outside of the music. Even though I know music could drive me out of any situation, you're not thinking like that during a time like that, you know? And then I got other things at home that's going on that music kind of took took a back seat. So definitely was a little in neutral, but we're working to get out of that.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from a music hip hop artist standpoint?
In 5 years, I definitely will have more music out, traveling, being a traveling artist, definitely having like a poetry book out. And working my stories in film and putting all three of those art forms together. So having a project, because one thing about me is I love concepts and I like to merge different sides of myself. Having a project, short film, but the narration is poetic instead of just straight dialogue. I love poetic dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Instead of telling a story like, she went to the thing. I'm very like, I have a poetic type of way of telling a story. So doing that cohesive with a piece of art, and putting it in film, like just melting all sides of my artistic abilities together and traveling the world and making money off of it without it being diluted by a machine or just because, they might have a lot of money or whatever. But I want it to be on my terms as far as like the way my art is. I don't want it to be diluted. If I could get out of this undiluted, I feel like that's the biggest success story.